So we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of this club and the fact that we meet all the time and have for 40 years. So I started the project last month, and I think I had 6 or 8 issues scanned. At this point, I have 55 issues of the SACC AmigaZette scanned. And it takes me about 9 minutes to scan one at 300 dpi on a 20-page newsletter. So, and I have another 4 magazine racks full of about 50 issues of WAC to scan. So we'll have a fairly complete record of what the club has been doing for the last 40 years. Actually, until we ceased publication in 2007. We went away from print, just to leap forward a little bit in the history. We discontinued doing paper and mailing to people in, I think it was 2003 or 2004, and did a HTML version that we sent to people via email from 04 to 07. So, and then there was no more AmigaZette from that time on because the internet took over and we had no other need for people to actually have a newsletter because there was exponentially much more information at that point. So one of the, just kind of some of the things I've been learning about the club during this time. Last time we did the beginnings of the club, and so just a few representative examples of how this appearance in the newsletter changed over the years. And the different ways in which the people, typically the editors, change the format. And so here's just 3 examples of that. I'm trying to keep them in the order scanned, but that way at least we can find out where they went. So this was October 1988. Which I think is in there somewhere. These are all the completed scans, by the way. And there's 55 issues there. So the October 1988 AmigaZette looked like this. And obviously it's Halloween time, and they made a big deal out of that. One of the, let me see if this issue, this is an early issue. No, this one didn't have it in. So that's how that editor, and the editor at this point was, let's see here, let me go link. Let's see if we can find from the editor. Okay. And of course he doesn't name himself. We're supposed to know. Oh, wait a minute, it's on the back page, sorry. Yeah, it's on the back page. There we go. Editor-in-Chief Robert DeGao, at this point, who was the owner and operator of CalWeb for a long time. So that is October of '88, and a lot of, mostly the ads, I think, have been the most interesting part to me, because it gives the prices that were being paid for this stuff. I did notice in an earlier issue that they had an ad for, you could buy an Amiga 1000, originally costing $1,200, for $699, about 1987. So, yeah. So let's see, this is July 80, this is July 89. Another change in the masthead and the design of the front cover. And yeah, there we go. So editor at this point for that change, let's see here, still Robert DeGao. So he had actually changed the look of the magazine at this point. And the thing that I didn't like about this particular one was that the page numbers are in a nice outline font on colored paper, which are kind of interesting to read. And so it was, I'm sure he got some feedback about that too. So let's see if we have some ads in here about prices of what was being, oh yeah, here we go. A Supra modem 2400 is only $179.95. It's a really great deal. And it's either the external version or you could get the card for the same price for your Amiga 2000. Super drive with a 80 megabyte disk.
Half mega memory is down to 159. It started out at 199.
Yeah, so this one is a 80 megabyte super drive that looked like this, okay? This is page 3 in the magazine. Yeah, there you go, got it. Only $14.95 for 80 megabytes worth of stuff. And so
it gets down to $1 a megabyte.
yeah.
I said myself in 1992 or 3.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So the external drive was for Amiga 500 and Amiga 1000 computers, and the internal drive was for Amiga 2000, as you can see there on the screen. So the let's see here if we can find some more prices here. You could, yes, you could. So let's see here. No. Also, the stores, there were at one point there were 5 stores, 5 Amiga stores in Sacramento.
In Sacramento?
In Sacramento, yes. There were 5 Amiga stores in Sacramento. There was Putz Electronics. Putz. Let's see here. Compatible Expansion Products was another one. And just reading the ads here. Computer Time. Incentrocytes. And all these guys here, let's see, the boss is gone. Candy Computer.
I was actually SIG coordinator for a little while.
In Elk Grove. Yeah, there he was, Dave Combs. Yeah, exactly. And so.
What were you, like 12 then?
Oh yeah, thank you.
If you can turn to page 7 of this issue, it'll give you an idea about how active the club was during this time. And yeah, that right there. It's all sideways, of course. There we go. So you can see all the meetings, including the SIG meetings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meetings a month. And really, really active. And as we learned last month, the club came out of a SIG from SC³. That's how the club started, was an Amiga SIG. So now we've got another.
The Grass Valley SIG has a bad reputation of being a pirate of SIG.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I love legitimate people.
Is that what it was, really?
That's what Dennis said. He said, I said,
all-
I came in the store and I said, it's snowing in Grass Valley. He goes, it always snows on pirates.
There we go. So let's see here. This is August of 1990. Is another change. A new editor took over. His name was Richard Carey. Do you remember him? Okay.
He did stay for a long time.
Yeah. Woody Bear was the SIG coordinator. Robert was board of directors member, Robert Dugal. Matthew Mansour was president during that time. And was that the same guy who had the rug store here in Sacramento? The Mansours? Was it? I figured as much. So it's a very unique name. So you can see the thing that I liked about it was some of the issues that were printed on colored paper. Some of the people didn't really consider readability of said colors, but this guy certainly did.
They had a bargain on paper at the time.
Well, of course. I mean, that's usually what it leads to.
Just make it broad to the person. BBS
Yeah. So on page 6 of this issue, yeah, there we go. Hit any key to continue. Yeah, there you go. So, so he's going to hit his key to continue. But you could buy a Panasonic laser printer for $13.95. $1,395. And $1990, that's right. Yeah, the back page, there we go. A3000 package, $3,895. Or $4,195. Yeah, and this is Puts Electronics here. I have another sheet at home that I finally did find in with these issues. And I forget which store it was, but they had fully configured video toaster flyer systems. And they started about, I think, $2,500 to $3,000, and they ended up at $37,000. And they actually sold those somehow. Don't know who.
The 4,000s that we got donated to the club are mostly toasted. Came from the previous owner of Puts.
Oh, okay, okay. So this is just a small sampling here of how the AmigaZette has changed throughout the years. Now, one other format change that was short-lived, and the reason it was because we tried it. I say we because I was in the club at the time. See if I can find this sucker here.
Are you talking about the 90s or
No, 2000s. 2000s. Oh, there we go. There we go, near the end.
2002?
The miniature version of the AmigaZette. This one was $19.99, and this was May 2000. So at this point, I believe, forget who was, oh, I think they put the officers up front here. Yeah, up front, there we go. So the bang, 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 bang. So Chuck Washburn was AmigaZette editor for the format change. I believe that he was the one who did it. And they were trying to get something that was a little more mailable and had a little bit better readability for some of the other stuff. Yeah, Chuck was still there. So in '99, John Zacharias was president, and as of May 2000, was my first year as president. But this is the format change that was very short-lived and only lasted about, the 2 years. So it was really tough to staple the stupid thing, as you might imagine, because it wound up to be 30, 35 pages instead of 20, and it got real thick. So it was just a mechanical thing that led Chuck to say, we better not try this anymore.
How much were you printing?
Well, at the beginning, the club was printing and mailing about 300 a month. And so by this time in let's take the miniature version here. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So there was 19 in the infrastructure: SACC officers, board of directors, disc of the month, webmaster, librarian, raffle chair, SIG coordinator, AmigaZette editor, research, writer, printer, and mailer. So there's about 20 people involved in just producing this thing. And I think during that time, our club meetings averaged somewhere around 20 to 25 at that point. And so the calendar for this, just the later on calendar, see if I forget whether we put one in here or not. I think what we had shifted to, oh no, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meetings there. So we had about 5 meetings a month at that point. And so some of them were special interest groups. Some of them were like hardware and software installation, maintenance, that kind of thing. And for people, lots of troubleshooting. And so it really is a very interesting picture for those who are interested in history of how the club developed and what happened along the way. And so, like I said, the most interesting thing to me is the history of the prices of equipment that started out really high, and you can see in the especially in 1992 and beyond how the prices started to drop, especially as we were able to use peripherals, especially that were built for other machinery that were not Amiga unique, and so that was kind of the interesting part to me. Was to see how all of that developed in the ads in here. So back in 1988, the cost of an ad, and just to see what these guys were doing as far as, so a quarter page, $15, a half a page vertical, $25, or horizontal, full page, $45, and 3/4 page in the back is $45. So this is in 1988 dollars. So the stores were paying $45 for a full page ad, which was probably close to double that, or maybe triple that in today's dollars, as far as expense was concerned.
Talking about the laser printer, I looked up the 1990 to 2026, and multiplier is 2.58.
Okay.
As a multiplier. And I guess like $5,000 for a game close.
Yeah, so pretty amazing. And so the support for the club from the stores was pretty amazing. They also had events at the stores. So people would come in from software developers, people came in from Commodore. There were a couple of club members who were shareholders in Commodore at that point. Right, exactly. And there was one guy, I ran across his outlook on the company. He did a whole interview with Mehdi after a shareholder meeting. Yeah, really. Mehdi Ali. And so it was very interesting to see how the shareholders' view was kind of, they were saying, well, what are you guys doing with all this? And basically all the questions that everybody's asked about why they did this without any adequate explanation. But I thought it was significant that club members from here had shares in the company. And I think a lot of them were actually in the business aspect of information technology at the time. That's why they were investors. But the interviews along those lines were really quite interesting. Many of the issues of the 1992 issues began to have printed indexes, or indices, I should say, of the Fred Fish disks. And that's, so every time new Fred Fish disks came out, the printed index appeared in the AmigaZette. So we have all of that information for people who are interested in looking that up. And I have a Fred Fish complete collection at home on CD.
When pages first came out, there'd be like 5 pages of the
Yes,
fish discs in
yes.
every,
There's like 5 pages of it. Yeah, in fly spec print. So these are the, and I think really, for me, the best way to read it outside of the paper, or to search it really, is in these scans, because you can do that, and really you'll look up some interesting stuff about it. So they were really heavy on peripherals. What can you connect? How can you do that? Programs and programming for people who were interested in that. Software development for people who weren't interested in that but wanted to know what was coming out. And So it was a very active, engaged kind of user group. Probably, as I have been looking across the country at other user groups across, for the last 26 years, I've found that we're probably, in fact, we've been told this, we're probably the most technically oriented user group in the country, as far as being interested in what Chris just presented, etc. And we actually have people here who understand that sort of stuff. I'm not one of them, but thank you for presenting anyway. And it might be something I might even use to explore some of my ideas. Who knows? Because that would be a possibility. A non-technical user can do that. And so that's kind of the good news for me. But I had no idea how far along we were as far as that was concerned. So I'll probably download your Amiga thing and see if I can make it work.
The thing people from Germany did the same thing as we did.
Sure.
At a later time period because of the different time scale of the time difference in distance.
Sure.
They were behind us by about a year, and we were just starting up over here, and they just caught up by us by 2 years in 82.
Yeah.
Because they went from the Commodore 64 like everybody else to 128 and everything.
Yeah, the early issues have a very interesting overlap in all of the hardware that is available for sale. Because you can see all the dealers, they not only have Amiga, but they have C64, C128, Atari, Mac. I mean, you name it, they're dealing in everything.
That some of us went from the Atari 800 to the Amiga. We followed J Minor.
Of course. Of course, exactly. So I haven't really gotten into the issues yet where Jay was actually involved with the club here, but we'll see, how that is historically presented in the AmigaZettes themselves. So that's my little bit for today, and it's probably going to be more of the same month to month, but if you're interested, I'm kind of shoving them over to Jerry to put on the website so you can take a look at all of them.
So how far have you gotten? What's the date that you...
Well, I'm not going in order because this is not in order. So what I'm doing is I'm ordering it as I'm scanning it. So when I find a year 2006 one, it's going to go in the back of this.
Not having 2 weeks around.
Exactly. Or search the whole thing twice. Don't want to do that. So
I want to find out one issue in 1991 where we showed our Pepsi Bowl to the whole club, and then the thing died. One little paragraph.
It'll be interesting to do some analysis on these.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're talking about prices, megabytes of storage, and so on. We now have the tools to potentially run through these and see storage growth, costs come down, the inflection points over time. We're interested to graph that.
Yeah, I think so too.
And also to kind of summarize the major things that went on through that timeline.
Yeah, exactly. There was one article, I believe in '88 by Robert Dugal that was talking about the cost of memory and how it was cheaper for you, instead of buying chips, it was cheaper for you to buy the card by about $300. So in fact, it was almost half the cost of buying the chips to buy the card already installed with the same amount of memory already installed.
I wonder how many people bought a computer just because of a particular piece of software. The only reason I bought a PC when the 4086 was the first one was Doom. Because I couldn't run Doom on an Amiga, so
Yeah.
Always the killer app. Yeah, STs were very popular with
Yeah. Well, the only reason I got involved was because I could, I bought a word processor with the thing. That was my whole thing, But it was that, I didn't have to use any control whatever codes to print things like I did it at work, So I could come home and just point and click and make it work.
Edit all that blasphemy out and edit it out. No one will ever know you used a computer ever, I promise.
All right. So thank you for listening, and we'll have more. Do what?